Being a woman in your 20s means your body is constantly evolving and not a single person prepares you for it. Instead, what everybody else does is just make you feel like you're out of shape, when it's not that black and white. Look who's back! Welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Payal. I am just a girly pop in her 20s, sharing things that nobody shared with me when I needed it the most. So I'm gonna take it upon myself and do that for anybody who might need to hear it now. See, so this is me before I even turned 21, I think, and what I would give to be this way again or look this way again. Wait, I just realized, because I was on my back camera, that I have my TV on, but since it's already on, I was listening to Tate McRae, You Broke Me First. I'm recording this video on the day where she sold out MSG, Madison Square Garden, with 16,000 people. And I'm just so happy for her. I don't know. Like, when you see girls just like starting off of YouTube and making it this big, it's always exciting, but I was just really in my feels right now with listening to this song, but just very happy for her. But anyway, let's get back to the video. So let's get back to the topic of the hour, which is fitness, or essentially how you perceive your body as an early adult. So in the last couple of years, I have definitely been in conflict, the way I see myself or how I feel about my body and whatnot. And maybe it comes from my culture, or it definitely plays a really big part in it, because South Asian culture is very unforgiving. The moment you get slightly bigger, or I know from some friends, the moment you get slightly smaller, comments start coming your way, and they definitely don't hesitate commenting things like outfits, like certain outfits don't look flattering on you anymore, or you have put on weight and whatnot. And these things might be true in some sense. Like, I'm not oblivious, like I get it, our bodies are changing, it might be true, and it might be slightly hard for us to believe or accept it from the inside when you're not used to a certain kind of body and you didn't have it at one point, and suddenly you wake up one day and you're like, wait, like when did I start looking like this? But anyway, the thing is, since nobody prepares you for it, or nobody tells you that, hey, to some degree, this is normal. Like, your body is going to look different than what you looked in your early or late teens. So when people make comments like that, they certainly come across as insults or attacks instead of concern. And I also think, at least for me, and I know for a lot of other people, that 2020 played such a big part, because it was almost like our systems didn't know what was happening. Like, all the activity was almost brought down to zero, and our systems they were almost confused. Like, hey, like, why are we not walking anymore? Why are we not doing X, Y, and Z that we used to do on a daily basis? And where did all the movement went? So 2020 played a really big part in our bodies changing. I know that for a lot of people. So if you're somebody who went through this, please let me know so that I know I'm not crazy. So let's talk about my relationship with fitness up till being 24. So all my life, I have either relied on walking or dancing to be in shape, and that was enough for me, because either I was walking enough to burn those calories, or I was dancing enough to burn those calories. So in my late teens, I was here in New York. I was not here anymore. I was in New York, and I went to school in Manhattan, which meant walking at least 10 to 15,000 steps a day. And that was enough for me, honestly, to keep me in a good, in a good shape. And that really did wonders for me, walking that much. Also, I never enjoyed gym. I have never been the person who likes going to the gym. Neither I felt the need to do so for the longest time, because I was walking so much, and I was like, hey, like, if this is working out for me, I'm gonna continue sticking to walking instead of going to the gym. And along with walking, my best friend and I started dancing and performing for these Desi Indian events in my college. So my 15,000 steps plus my dance practices was all I needed to be in shape up till 2020. Now 2020 comes, and I very, very naively believe that, hey, let me just be a little easy on myself, and if I'm eating slightly more than usual and not doing anything to burn it off, that's okay, because in a couple of months, things are gonna open back up. I'm gonna be walking the same amount again. So the slight weight that I have gained, it'll be under control. It's no big deal. And the next thing I know, we're not going back to college anymore, let alone Manhattan. I'm not getting any steps. Like, forget about 15,000 steps. And that's when the first phase of me gaining a significant amount of weight happened. And honestly, it was a snowball effect since then. Well, fast forward to 2021, and I moved to Manhattan, but I was still working fully remotely. So I was trying to get back in a routine of like walking enough and getting my steps in, but it wasn't working out as well as I had expected since I was working from home. And the thing is, I was dealing a lot mentally at that time. And honestly, like working on my fitness or, like being in shape definitely took a backseat. And my priority at that time was just to work on myself emotionally and mentally and just get myself back on the track. So again, me slightly slacking for the right reasons in 2021. So this is 2 years now of me not doing anything about the way I look. Now let's fast forward to 2023. It took me a long time to just get myself up to speed. Definitely it was more than a year to just feel good about myself emotionally or mentally, and I wasn't 100% there. But slight progress was good enough for me to be like, hey, now is the time I start taking other things into account. And my body was, like working out and fitness was the next on list. And I'm like, hey, like I need to start taking it seriously before it gets too late. And then I didn't want to get to a place where I'm like, fudge, like I don't want to regret taking such a long break and not focusing on my body at all, because our bodies do a lot for us. And I think it's almost like we owe our bodies that much respect that, okay, I will dedicate 30 minutes or an hour a day to you to make sure you're functioning properly. But I was also mindful because since having COVID, I had COVID in 2021, and I just wasn't the same. Like, whether it was my energy levels, whether it was the way I ate anymore, or there was just a lot of things that changed that I didn't even recognize anymore. It was all very new. So 2023 was like, okay, let me try new things. Maybe just walking won't be enough for me. I wasn't dancing anymore. And I started looking into classes. So I found these Pilates classes near my home. Note, I had always liked doing yoga, but again, I feel like when you're not okay here, it almost seems impossible to get yourself to get up and do anything else. So just a side note, like if you're somebody who's dealing a lot mentally, like I get it. It's really hard to get yourself up and get out of that funk to do anything, let alone working out. But if you can just do the slight push to be like, hey, even if it's 2 days a week, let me just try that much, because eventually it will get better and you're only gonna feel better about it. So anyway, just wanted to let that out. But I found these Pilates classes in 2023, started going and doing these classes 3 to 4 times a week. If you remember, if you were on my Instagram in 2023, you would see it on my stories every other day. The music, the vibe, like the lights, everything was so fun in these Pilates classes. It was like HIIT. So I would go for these HIIT classes, and it took me at least, I kid you not, at least 1 year to see slight progress. Like 2023, I continued working out. At least I felt good that, hey, like I'm dedicating my time to something that's good for my body. It made me feel good, really, like it made me feel better emotionally. But to see progress the way I looked, it took me at least a year, okay? Fast forward to 2024, I am chilling. I've also started doing yoga. Like, things are great. March of 2024, I injured my foot, bummer. And I very naively believed that, hey, it's a slight injury, it will be fine, I'll be up and running again. It was like, I just had like a swollen foot. I just woke up one day with a swollen foot and I just didn't think much of it. I'm like, maybe I injured it, hit it, I am very clumsy, and I'm like, maybe I didn't realize it. A couple days go by, I can't even stand, and I have injured this foot, specifically this toe, in 2021. I remember I injured it right before taking my grad pics, and it was bad. I couldn't really do much about it then, but I remembered that. So I'm like, okay, it's the same foot, it's the same toe that's hurting. Let me be a little bit more empathetic towards it. So a couple days go by, no improvement. So Joe's like, we gotta go see a doctor. I'm like, yes, we do. We go to the doctor, we take injections in my foot. And I'm like, how does this even happen? So long story short, my foot took at least 6 months to recover. This year, I injured it in like February, I think. So I was on the couch. So all that slight progress that I was just starting to see went down to 0. And when I tell you, I was heartbroken because you do so much towards one certain goal and then it's like we're back to 0. But that's okay. I feel like, again, I'm just consciously and intentionally being a lot more empathetic to what's more important, which was healing my foot. So anyway, I was on the couch. I couldn't move at all, let alone work out. But I was still eating 3 times a day or 2 times a day or whatever, and doing nothing to burn those calories once again, because I could not. This time it was not intentional. This time I was like, I physically could not. And I gained all that way back, if not more. So now, finally, that we have moved to Florida, I am seeing some progress. I went and saw a doctor here also. Things are looking good. I still have slight pain in the same toe, but it's much better. And now it's almost like I'm starting from scratch again. I want to make improvement in the way I look, the way I do things, the way I eat. So many things happening. So I just thought, why not bring you guys along? Wanted to give you like a whole picture of what my relationship with fitness has looked like in the last couple of years. But I want to show you as a beginner, like I am still not a gym junkie. I don't think I ever will be. But I just want to show you little things that I am doing in my daily routine to help me take steps forward in the way I look. Actually, before taking you along, I just wanted to add one quick thing that, like this entire thing made me feel how vulnerable I felt, because if you were to look at me, right, like in 2023, okay, she's working out, good for her, but in 2024, you'll be like, hey, like she looks different, like she's put on weight, like whatever it might be, right? If you're not interacting with me daily, you wouldn't know that I've injured my foot or whatnot. But I know that. But if somebody were to look at me, they would just assume, oh, she's put on weight. And as harsh as it seems, we just have to learn to block that noise, because people are gonna think what they have to think without having the full picture. In my personal life, I have seen it time after time, and not just like with this one thing, but people are not gonna make any effort to get to know why it's happening, like what is happening and why it's happening. They're not gonna take the time to understand it, but they're just gonna wanna jump to conclusions. They're gonna wanna believe what they wanna believe. So before I just show you what I'm doing, I just wanted to let this out and put it on the table that people are just gonna assume things, and you just have to do what's best for you. If you and people who you genuinely know care about you and love you, if they're not being hard on you or if they're not being harsh to you, that's all that matters. Because I genuinely believe people who come at you, they're dealing with their own demons. It's never about us. It's never about how we look. It's almost like a ripple effect, right? It's almost like, oh, somebody might have done something to you and that's why you're doing this to me, but that's not my problem. Like, I'm not gonna deal with it. I'm not gonna take the burden of like things that were done wrong to you, or some people are just mean in general. But anyway, just wanted to let it out, be easy on you. And okay, now let's finally start. Let me just finally bring you along on what I do on a daily basis.
Okay, so I'm going back to my roots, and I did find a hot yoga place, and I try to go at least 2 to 3 times a week using my ClassPass credits. Also been trying to reduce my takeout habit and making weekly essentials like raita, which is an Indian yogurt. Came across this app called Better Me through my Instagram, and it basically asks you a bunch of questions and then gives you a 1-month workout plan. And it's like 20 minutes long, and the app helps you track your calories, your workouts, calories that you're burning through your steps, etc. etc., which has been nice. I also ended up ordering the Better Me band, which basically tracks a lot of other stuff, like if you're calorie deficit, it tracks your sleep, etc. This is me staying accountable and doing my daily 20-minute workout, and I think it's called calisthenics. I could be wrong. I don't even know if I'm saying it right, but I think that's what these workouts are called. So that's me doing them. Also been taking my midday walks to get my 10,000 steps a day. I have not been able to finish those steps so far, but I'm really trying. Even though I'm trying to reduce the coffee intake, I don't want to completely stop. So I basically earn my coffee now by walking back and forth. So I also got this specific band, which is similar to the Better Me one, but I worked for a week and nothing came up on my app, so I got impatient and sent it back. And then lastly, my favorite step is to go down to the sauna and just sweat it all out.
So that concludes on what I have been doing. It's nothing crazy, just very simple steps, and even simple steps can seem scary sometimes. So my whole reason of making this video was that I can give my 2 cents on this topic, but also like this video will help me stay accountable. And if anybody wants to be my accountability partner, my comments are open. Before I conclude, once again, only you know what's happening with you, your mind, and your body. And if certain people are making you feel a certain way about it, which is not good, just remember it says a lot about them than you. And certain people just lack the empathy and the kindness to just take into account that, hey, like something might be going on with this person that I don't know, so maybe I should just keep my mouth shut and go about my day. Certain people just lack that, and we just have to remind ourselves this. So for my girls out there, you're beautiful. We're all beautiful. For the men out there, you're killing it too. Let's just continue taking steps to be disciplined. It is awesome to have goals and to want to be a certain way, and there's absolutely no reason that we won't get there. It's completely attainable, whatever goals you have. But if it's just not happening immediately, that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Please let me know if you have any thoughts or opinions on this specific topic. But other than that, have a great day. I'll see you next time.